All right. What's up, everyone? Let me just post a couple more notes here to folks. Okay. All right. We are here. We're doing stuff. We're live. It's party time. Hi. How's your Tuesday? What's new? What's going on? How you been? What's up, Nate? Do I have audio playing? I do have audio playing. Where's it coming from? There it was. All right. Okay. There was some lag. Something was weird. I had my own stream open. I needed the link. So, yeah, anyways. Hi. Hello. What's up, y'all? What's new? What's everybody up to? Let's see. Party time? It is indeed party time. We're going to make that happen. It's going pretty well, Ryan. How are you? Jacob, what's up? Yes, of course you can absolutely join the party. Okay, so I have a plan. And my plan today is I'm going to try to build a whole landing page in Astro in like one shot. And so what I'm working on is I'm trying to put together Astro Party, right? And for those of you who aren't familiar with Astro Party, it is the course on Astro that I announced like a year ago and then haven't gotten released yet. And yeah, that's so I'm gonna try to fix that. I'm gonna try to actually get some momentum on this. Last year was maybe not the right year to try to add like 5 new things at once. Y'all may have heard me talk about this in the past, but I have a tendency to think I can do everything, but I can usually only focus on like one new thing at a time. And so when I left Netlify, my big goal was to find a way to make being independent sustainable, right? And so some of the ways that I'm trying to make it sustainable are relatively passive. Like, for example, if you as a viewer, an enthusiast, so to speak, are interested in supporting the channel, you can like join on YouTube. You can hit there's subscribe to the channel, which is free. And that is super helpful. It means a lot to me. Please do it. There's also a way to join the channel that's like $4 or something like that. And by joining, it will, that basically just fuels the channel. Like I dump all of that straight back into producing better stuff. So that's reasonably passive. I have to like shill for it like I just did. Then there's the higher paying stuff, which is what I charge companies for, tutorials, and sometimes they'll sponsor different episodes of things that I do. And that's the majority of what pays my bills. And then there's also like, what can you do that, passive is a bit of a misnomer, but like, what can you do to do a lot of upfront work and then have, recurring income with minimal ongoing work. And that's like coursework, right? So I thought I had the whole sustainability thing figured out for the sponsorships. And in reality, I didn't at all. So I started this Astro Party project and then realized that I just did not have bandwidth for it. Like I had to focus on other things. However, now's the time. It's Astro Party time. So I think we let it go. Yeah, Fada, it's finally happening. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. That really does. It means so much. But yeah, Fada, we're doing Astro Party finally. You've been asking. We're making it happen. What's up, VDog? What's up, Bridgewater? Yeah, a classic one-shot landing page. We're gonna see if we can do it. I think we can. I mean, I feel like 3 hours is plenty of time. And if y'all want to try to follow along, feel free. I am going to see if I can do the design for it as well, and I'm going to see if I can not fall down that rabbit hole. We'll see how it goes. What's up, James? Yes, man. This outfit feels so coordinated. Like I feel so cool when I wear this. I'm like, oh yeah, look at me. I'm doing fashion. Doesn't happen often. All right, let's do this. Let's build this thing out. So I'm going to let's see. Let me make sure I don't have other things running. I do, so I'm gonna turn those off. All right, now that I got that, let's get this screen shared. There you go. All right, and I'm going to switch us over into a different view here that I like better. There's that one. All right, and then I'm going to update what I'm doing. There. Okay, we're ready. We are so ready to go. Yes, exactly. No, this is great. This is excellent. Cool. All right, let's go make this happen. So here's what I want to do. I'm gonna come back. Where does this live? I guess it lives under Learn with Jason still. So let's go with npm create Astro at latest. Yes. And we're going to, let's see, we'll name this welcome to the party. Run it empty. We're going to write TypeScript. We'll keep it strict. Run dependencies. Yes, we want a new Git repository. Doing the thing. This is so nice. Let's see. Let me actually, let's not do it over there. Let's see. The actual link, the one that the easier place for everybody to hang out, if you are wondering what the like preferred URL is on the YouTube. And so I will drop that link in here. So you can join up there. I should have cleaned up that sharing thing so it was easier, but anyways, that's the easiest place. You can also just go to lwj.dev/live is going to redirect you straight to the YouTube. And yeah, I'm also on like if you do prefer Twitch, I don't mind if you're on Twitch. I'm focusing on YouTube. So you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/jlangsdorf. That's here. Okay, cool. So let's do this. We're going to get back over to here and let's get into our welcome to the party and let's open it up. All right, so here is our fresh Astro site and it's got basically nothing in it. So empty config. We've got the Astro dependency, TypeScript, some utilities, and then just like our scripts to run the thing. Anything else going on in here? Let's see. tsconfig is nice and simple, keeps it simple and basic strict mode. And then we have this page. This is our empty Astro site, right? Nothing going on, nothing up my sleeve. Considering Astro for a new project at work, please impress you. I hope that works. How do you put components inside other components and make responsive styles? I can do that. Let me get into that a little bit. All right. Let's jump in and make it happen. Okay, so basic whiteboarding here. Let's go to Figma, and we'll go back out. Let's create a new design file, and we're gonna call this Astro Party. And I'll set this up. Actually, if I go here, I can just make this like a regular desktop. Let's go with a standard desktop. That feels good. Wireframe. Ooh, even better. Let's wireframe it. So, okay. So what I want on this landing page is we're going to basically build out in Astro Party a full business, but we're going to do it through different segments of the business. So the intention is that, like, mainly so that we don't have to keep redesigning things, we're going to put together some core pieces, like layout and everything, and then we're going to use those shared pieces, the shared design elements, to stand up. To start, we'll do a landing page. It's going to have a sign up form element, like kind of an interest gauging thing. So I'm also going to run it the way that I would run like a business. You put up a landing page, you gather interest, make sure that your idea is something that people actually want, and then we'll build the blog so that you can do announcements and marketing and stuff like that. Then we'll get into the actual app side of things. We'll build a dashboard, and we'll just kind of keep adding features that way. So throughout the course of Astro Party, you're going to end up working with auth, you're going to work with databases, you're going to work with the different component systems. We'll look at, like, how do you embed other frameworks as part of just the building system, and then we'll also look at how can you do things like embedded SPAs. We'll get into view transitions. We'll do a whole bunch of stuff, but today what we want to do is let's lay the basic foundation and get the landing page set up. So the way we're going to do that is we're just going to start by making some rectangles. So for a standard website, what I would expect is that we would have, just kind of make this look like a wireframe, and then I'll drag a bunch of these around. I would expect that we would have like a header, right? And so our header is going to sit somewhere like this, and then we'll have some kind of a headline, and then that headline is probably going to be part of a, like, maybe have an image that goes off the side like this, and then let's put a headline in. Wonderful. Let's get this much bigger. Let's go with like 100, and then let's switch it to something that I know I won't use so that I don't confuse myself into thinking I'm designing anything. And just kind of blow that out, center it, and say, okay, so nice big 2-line headline. And how do we want it? I mean, maybe we just kind of keep it nice and simple like that, and then we'll have some text, and I want some lorem ipsum. And I could do this a lot of ways, right? Whoa, what was that? There we go. And then just generate a little bit. Won't even need that much. We're going to grab like this much, head back over here, drop it in, and then let's make this, we'll say like, oh, that's so teeny tiny. Excuse me? Stop it. Okay, well, I guess I can't keep that website open in the background. So then we'll do something like this. Maybe we'll go until that looks about right. I'm going to set this at 145% so that it has, you know, some semblance of readability. And then let's maybe make this fit. I think that feels good, right? So then we've got our kind of basic setup. That'll be the top and bottom, and then we're going to need some kind of, yeah, bleach is on sale. Yeah, I'm in Figma right now. That's what I'm currently working in. And then we can take one of these down here, and we can make this like feature 1. And let's take the size down by a lot. Make this, let's see, how wide is this? 1440, so let's go with 1440 divided by 3. And I can stick that over here. Then I can take this, pull it down. I'm going to make this square, so we'll go with like 350 by 350. And then we'll just turn this up all the way until it's a circle. Take that, stick it there. Maybe I want these in opposite order. And then I need a little bit more text. So this one, we'll go with like 2 sentences worth. Okay, stick all that here, center it up. Something like that, maybe. Right, and then we need one more of these. This is going to be our button. And we'll get some text on here that says, like, check it out. Make that a little bigger. Okay, so that's going to be our feature setup thing. And, like, again, we're not designing so much as like laying out right now, so I'm aware that this is not going to be the most like perfect design, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to group this, then I'm going to group it again, right? And the reason I'm doing it again is because then I can auto layout, and then I can take this, copy paste it twice. Let's set the spacing on it to be 0. And now we've got just a nicely, you know, basic layout of like key features, right? Okay, cool. So then that's probably like, so this will show us how to reuse components. This will show us how to embed images, the header, and then I guess we'll also put a footer. Whoa, what the heck did I just do? No, thank you. That was crazy. What was that? Oh, this is like an arc feature, I guess, where you can screenshot things. Wild. Okay. Anyways, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to just pull this down. And so we'll get a footer. So we kind of have like a header and footer down here for what's going on. And then the last thing we're going to need is a form. So let me make this a little bit taller. We'll move this down. And then down here, we're going to create a form. So let me grab our button. We'll just copy one of those out here. And let's see. Let's keep it simple. I don't want to like create a really ambitious form design. So we'll do something to the effect of pull this out here and like sign up to get notified when this goes live. All right, it'll be something like that. We'll blow this text up a little bit. That'll be like our H2 style. And then we need some more text, so we can bring this down. And we'll do something kind of like that. It probably doesn't need too much text here, so we'll just go with one of these. And I create these as like constraints for myself. So if I decide that I only get 2 sentences, then I'm only allowed to create 2 sentences. I don't know if that's something that, like, if you're not also designing your own stuff, you maybe don't get to have those types of opinions, but it's, you know, it's my site. I got to build it so I can make it as hard for myself as I want. So then we'll go with something like, this will be the input. We need to label these inputs for clarity and accessibility. So let's raid. Who's raiding? What's up, y'all? Hello, hello. I don't. This UI doesn't show me who's raiding. It just shows people talking about it. So what's up? Oh, is this C Sharp Fritz? What's up? What's up, y'all? Thank you so much. Let's see, what's a good way to actually develop a Figma prototype? There might be more efficient ways, but this is how I do it. I just drag rectangles around and you know, kind of put stuff on the screen so that I can basically see where things fit together and make sure I haven't forgotten anything. And then I will make sure that I have. Basically, it's once I feel confident that all the elements are there, then I can go in and start designing the individual pieces to figure out what they are. I think if I was doing this more professionally, like if I was doing a lot of wireframes all the time, I'd probably look into making things a little bit easier. Like you can do some stuff, like you can you know, take something like this and make yourself a little, like, hey, this is an image, right? And take that sort of thing and do a fill like so, and it's like, aha, look at you, image. And maybe I would build myself a library of stuff like this if I was gonna stick with doing a ton of these all the time. But you know, this is fine. I'm fairly happy with this as a general piece. Yeah, trying to be too ambitious is like a huge problem for me. Like I love to add lots and lots of pieces and to make my life as hard as humanly possible. So in this case, what we're going to do instead is we're going to keep it nice and simple. We're going to think about what you actually need on a landing page, and then we're going to see if we can one-shot it from there. So we've got header, we've got some kind of a teaser headline, tell people where they can, like, why are they here? What do they care about? And then we show them a few features, give them a sense of what the product is about, what it can do, and then we give them an offer to sign up. And maybe, like, you know, maybe there's something else we would add, like, you know, meet the team, or maybe these features need a little bit more space, so we could do them vertically or something. But yeah, I think this is going to be okay for what we're doing now. So let's get these labels added. We'll say first name, then we gotta, let's change this back to one of those. And then I'll move this over here. Okay. What else? Do we need anything else? I mean, I feel like I'm pretty happy with this. Do I code these prototypes later? I'm going to code this prototype in like 15 minutes. Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on what I'm doing, right? Like if I'm just trying to think through something, sometimes I'll put the prototype together and then I'll throw the prototype out and kind of design from scratch. But in this case, I think what I'm going to do is use the prototype, and we'll kind of in place update the prototype to have a design. So I will take a copy of my prototype. I'm calling this done. Feature complete, right? So these are the features that I want on this page. So now let's go in and actually design each of these sections. And the way I'm going to do that is, let's see, we're going to call this, I need a name for this business. And I think the name that I'm going to give this business is the Astro Party Planning Company. Actually, I should probably not call it Astro, just so that nobody thinks this is like official, blessed by the Astro team. So let's instead call it the Galactic Party Plan. Yeah, why not? Well, let's look at the Astro Party site. See if we can come Astro came to party. We've got some ghosts. We've got some balloons. What if we, okay, so here's what I want this part. I think the business that I want to make is actually like a sort of Meetup clone. I don't want to get deep into the weeds with Meetup and like all of the things that you can do with it, but I think at a high level, I want to, you can create events because I want to show a few things. Like I want to show how you can do like multi-tenancy. So as a SaaS creator, you can build a site that other people sign up for to run their own businesses off of. So that's the multi-tenancy thing. So they'll sign up and create their team, and then they'll have access to their suite of things. Somebody else will have access to their own suite of things. They can get teams and organization stuff. But then individual people can sign up for the events created by these people, by these admins, and maybe we'll look at like image uploads or something like that, so that people can attend, like say they want to attend these events, and then afterward they can upload photos from the event to like share their memories or something, and then that'll lead to a moderation queue. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff, right? Like we'll figure out the details of that stuff later, but I think what this means is we're going to call this Never Ghosted, and that's going to be the name of our business. Why don't we just go with like the full app thing? We'll call it Never Ghosted, and then we'll do a party planning maximum friendship. Okay. So let's start thinking about how we want to actually do this. I think I'm going to go with a kind of rounded, friendly font, and I'm going to use Google Fonts because I don't want to do anything with. I don't want to make it hard for people to do this. So if somebody's building, they should be able to build it themselves. So let's dig through some of these different font sizes and stuff, and see if we can find one that fits the vibe. So I think I'm kind of leaning toward going fairly straightforward on this. I think what I want is like a rounded, like grotesque, which would be like, I don't know, maybe I just go straight for Avenir. Oh, we don't get Avenir on Google. Crap. Okay. Fine, I guess. Anybody got a favorite font? Or am I going to do Astro Party videos on all my streams for a little while? I don't know, actually. A group of ghosts is called a specter. That's really funny. How I actually code this, I'll get to coding it. I'm going to try to get to coding it today. Like we're 30 minutes in. I think I can do it. Let's see. What does this one look like? This is going to be this is where we hit the absolute like slow moment while I try to figure out a font, but then it'll pick up from here. Poppins or Nodo? So let's look at Poppins. What's Poppins? All right, Poppins has got a vibe. Let's look at Nodo Sans. Is there a... Nodo is definitely good. Is there like a Nodo rounded? No, of course not. Nunito? Oh, I think that might be the jam. Yeah, see that? It's got that like nice... that seems friendly. I like that. And then we can go... Oh, there's lots of weights. Good. So we'll go with... All right, you know what? I'm shipping it because otherwise I'm going to stare at this all day, and that's not good. So then we'll use the standard like SF whatever text, like basically default font for everything else. So we'll use this Nunito for our headline fonts, and then we'll use SF Pro, which I'm basically the Apple default font is what I'm going to use. And then we can Let's go. All right, here we go. So then we're gonna put this in here. Then I got to figure out a basic color scheme. And so I could do a lot of things, but what I like to do is just go to color.adobe.com and explore. Because typically you're gonna find one that is cool, and then you can let's see, neutral palette, primary, happy. Oh yeah, look at all these happy colors. And I'm gonna need something that can work as like, it needs to be happy, but will also work in a corporate environment. So like this one's kind of looking like it might work. Maybe something like that would probably work. I don't know. Let's go with my gut. My gut said this was a good one, so let's roll with this. And then I'm going to copy this color. Oops. Head over here. Let's just make ourselves a little color palette. And I know you don't have to do this, but it makes me really happy when these are like clean. So I make myself like a little color palette tile. Whoops. And you come grab the next one. And let's get our last one. Okay, so from here, we'll be able to kind of pull together some different things, but I think probably the first thing that's going to happen, we're most likely going to make this into like our header font, right? Like that's a very corporate header font. We're gonna, or header color, I mean. So we're gonna roll with that. I'm going to get rid of the stroke. I'm gonna get rid of the rounded edges, and we're just gonna pull this all the way up to the top and sides. And let's make it a little bit sleeker. So we'll go with like 100 pixels tall. And this is gonna live, what color? This one? Contrast. Maybe not. Maybe we'll have to like tweak a little bit, but we can get there. So let's go with something like pretty light. And then we'll put this in here. We'll make this one can probably be this color. All right. And then I'm going to make this even smaller, in fact, and we'll go with here. And then because it's small, you can start taking the width out, and it like makes it more legible at smaller sizes. Right? Little typography tip. Okay. And then let's make these kind of fit. And then does this need to come together? Like, do I want to make this feel tighter? Yeah, kind of like that. So then we can make this just a bit bigger, make sure that it kind of fits the general setup here. Right? Right. Okay. So then we'll make this just a tad taller so that these pieces fit. And we've got a brand. Cool. We're going to roll with that. So what I could do if I was going to get really, and maybe like later I'll mess with this, but I might try to like do a little drawn logo or something like that, but that would kill the rest of the time we have today, and I don't want to get stuck in that rabbit hole. So we're going to forge ahead. Okay, so the next thing that we would need is we'd probably need some kind of a nav, but in this particular case, we don't actually have a nav. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to group this up, right? And then call that header. Okay, so next let's make this part work. So this is going to be Nunito. And we're going to use probably the same, we used extra bold up here. Let's go just a tad bit lighter than the logo. We will go with 110% for the headline line height. And then just bring the size down a little bit. In fact, maybe we bring the size down a lot a bit. And let's go over to Unsplash and find our image. So let's say Happy Friends Party. Maybe we just want party. Maybe just friends? Maybe they're at a restaurant. Happy hour? Come on, there's something. There's something in here that's going to work. I don't want to focus on the booze. I want to focus on the people. This is where they get you. They like show you all these photos. It's like, oh, that would work. Oh, just kidding. Can't use that one without paying. Come on. Come on. Group of friends laughing. Oh, wait, you had one. Ah, see, there's not. I like that one too. Dang it. Let's do. Okay. All right. This is getting ridiculous. I'm probably not going to find the perfect photo, so maybe I just grab one and we go with it. Yeah? Fine. Well, no, that's not really that. But it's got to have the vibe. It's got to have the vibe. You can't just like toss any old photo in there. People hanging out around a campfire, is that the right thing? You know what? It's going to be, here we go. This is fine. These aren't kids, right? Those kind of look like kids. I don't want to put pictures of kids on there. That seems like this is a planning app for adult friends. Here, people eating. It seems like fun. We're going to have a great time. Let's grab this image and we're going to come, oh wait, I need the image itself. So we're going to come back out here and I'm going to just replace this with this image. And then I also, before I click away, need to copy the link to this one. And we're going to add that in a comment. Okay. So, got some comments. All right, so if I wanted to make this into, as a hero banner, it could look cool. Oh, what's up, Cassie? Ah, children. Yeah, so Linda, we're doing this is going to be a landing page for a fictional company called Never Ghosted, which is going to be like party planning. And eventually it's going to grow into full-blown SaaS. We're going to have all sorts of features. But I think what we can do in the short term is we're just going to roll with something like this. And I do think I kind of like that as a hero image. So let's make it bigger. Can I stick you to dock to side, markers resolved? I thought there was a way to like hook these to things, but maybe I'm wrong. Oh yeah, there's not. It's fine. We'll figure it out. So maybe we drop this off and we just kind of stick this right up at the top like so. Do one of these. It's 1440, right? Yeah. Okay. So if we got something like this, then the cool thing we can do is I can take a rectangle and I can set it on top like this, and we'll go, let's see, we want at least one of these people to be in focus. So we'll go with about like that, seems okay. And then I'm going to take this fill, we'll make it a gradient fill. And I'm going to take it over to the side like this. Take this one over. Right, so now that's like a perfect gradient. And maybe we'll start there and see how it feels. And then I'm going to take this one and we will make it this color. We'll pull that again, but we'll turn down the opacity to 0. And then I'm going to change the blend mode to multiply. Yeah, I think that's okay, but then I need to make this whole thing bigger because we need this to be visible. So then we want, let's see, so this is our gradient. And I need the photo. And that's going to come up. Oh, wait. You and you, all of you, coming up to the top to hang out with my gradient here. This is going to change to the same color as our logo, which I suppose should pull this up. And then we can also sample this here. This is so chaos mode. I'm sure a designer is like watching this and just like dry heaving at my choices. But this is how I have started putting together color palettes. Is like as I need different things, I just start kind of pulling them together, and then when it feels right, I save it. So just taking some of the saturation out of that pink. And then that'll be our like text pink. Well, those are basically the same color. Maybe I just stick with this as the... Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So then we got... These need to also switch to there. Good. Okay. So then this is going to be that SF Pro text. And we're going to make it regular. And this, I want to live like over here probably. It's going to have to be a lot smaller, not that small. And then maybe pull this over here. And I want this to move over here. And this is going to be too much text, so we're probably going to shorten that up. Let's shorten it to, say, like 2 sentences again. Okay, but then we don't have quite enough of that gradient coverage, so I'm going to pull this over just a little bit more. And then I kind of don't, it feels a little too... There we go. Okay, so we're going to make a new version of the blue as well. And I'm going to make that, yeah, this nice deep blue. And that deep blue needs to also pull across into here. Okay, so that then gives us a little bit more of a pad where we've got the darker color kind of coming through. You can see the thing behind it, but it's not like overpowering. And then I can make this probably even a little bit smaller. Make this a little bit smaller as well. Take it up like that. And then we need some kind of a call to action, so we can do like a learn more. Stick one of these arrows in there. Okay, so that will be, make that semi-bold, and we will use the link color, and shoot, that's not gonna work. Can it be one of these? No, that's not really visible either. We'll go with that for now, and I'll probably come back to this and come up with a better link color, but underlined for a link is probably good enough. Okay. I think that's good enough. I think for a hero page, I'm happy with that. So then what we need is we need to design our features. So let's get all of these pieces pulled together into one group here. And we're going to call this hero. What's that? That's our... Okay. And we'll just take our hero up here. And then, so basically what I'm doing is I'm just kind of section by section, we're building out this design. And my hope is that pretty quickly we're going to end up with everything that we need to start building this out. And, you know, I don't want to get deep into the weeds on like how to do the CSS stuff. But I still think we can get all this done. Like if I can get the rest of this kind of whacked out in the next, call it 25 minutes, we should be able to finish the build today. Famous last words. Okay, so let's build one of these. This, I think, I am going to use Unsplash for these, and we're going to say, like, calendar. And that is perfect. So we're going to copy this image. I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to paste that in, and then I want to use a bigger version of it. So we'll just shrink that. Yeah, about like that. That feels good. Okay, so that's going to be for our calendar. I don't want this to have that big old stroke on it. And honestly, I might not want it to be... I think, given the feel of this, square is better. So let's see. Book. Create fun events. Sure. We're gonna roll with that. Then let's stick it to Nunito. We're gonna make that bold. Do I want to make these a little tighter as well? I think I do. I think I do want to make these a little bit tighter. I think that'll just make it feel more headline-y. Like, do you see the difference of what I just did there? Like that, like 2%, because now it's kind of whatever. It's fine. It's nothing wrong with it. But then that sort of makes it feel like it's part of a singular unit, if that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know how to. There's a reason I don't teach design. I got vibes. I don't have words. Then this is going to be the SF Pro text, and we'll make that regular text. And I don't know. I don't think this needs very much. I think that can kind of be what it is. What is our body font going to be, though? Like that, we're going to have to figure out. Let me take our little color palette. Oops. No, don't do that. Just go up. I'm going to take you, and I'm going to make you even darker. Go something like that, maybe. Okay. So let's take that. And that can be our headline color, right? I like that. I'm into that. And then I think what I'm going to need is a like desaturated version of this one to be our body text. So maybe something like that. Let's see how that feels. Yeah, that works. Okay, then we'll take our nice bright blue to be the call to action button. We will make this our brighter color, and we'll do the buttons in Nunito as well. That feels all right. Okay. Hey, what's up, Dustin? How you doing? Am I going to animate anything? Maybe. I don't know. I hadn't really thought about that. But yes, Astro is having a moment. I think, I mean, Astro and GSAP is very basically Astro and HTML, or Astro and whatever framework you prefer. Vibes, not words. Okay, so let's see if we can figure this out. I want this to be even lighter, because why not? Okay. So that can be our button. I don't really like these. And this needs to be the same color as that. And you know what? All right. I think let's get our spacing right, and then we'll ship this. Does that feel... Yeah, that's probably good enough, right? It's good enough for our purposes. I think getting overly attached to it is probably the wrong idea. So we'll call this a feature call out, and then I'm going to make it into a thingy, right? And then what I can do is I can make this bit into a variable. That's not what I want. I want this part to be a variable, and we'll call it heading. I want this part. Yeah, you know what? We should. We'll make this part into a variable, and that I think will be all we need there. So then I can take these, I can get rid of them. I can take these across, and then on each of these, I have the ability to just update them right here. So we'll do something like capture memories, and I don't know, make new friends. Yeah, I think that's good. So then, let's see, I need to get the link for this one. And then I will find a new one for, let's see, Polaroid. There we go. Copy this image. Get out here. Okay, and then I need to copy this link as well so that we can find them later when we actually go to build this thing. And finally, I need something for making new friends. So maybe we look for like a heart. I don't know. I kind of wanted to fit that like white background vibe. So that feels too emo. Like I know it was too emo because as soon as I saw it, I was like, drippy, yeah, love it. And that's because I'm an emo kid. Yeah, I think like Astro and progressive web apps are not, they're not mutually exclusive. You can, I mean, a progressive web app is, depending on what you mean by a progressive web app, like you can ship a service worker to make an Astro site work offline. I have noticed that the use cases for progressive web apps where they need to like fully work offline is pretty low. And so I don't know. Maybe is there just like a friendship? What does friendship look like? I don't know about that. What's a symbol that's gonna, like, it's gonna be a heart, right? Like it's gotta be a heart. There's nothing else it could be. Should I just use, I have the heart that I use all the time, so why don't I just go get that? That's probably easier. Where is it? In here? Y'all want to see the new thing I'm working on? This is my new site design that I'm very, very slowly making progress on. This is the heart I'm after. So I want you to come with me. And then we'll get in here. And maybe what I do is I actually just take this thingy. That's not going to work. Yeah, that's not going to work at all. So we're going to go with a fill. We're going to go with a gradient. And I'm going to sample this. And then I'm going to sample this. Are those the same? I feel like they're basically the same. That doesn't, whatever. What about you? Maybe something like here? No? Maybe something like here? It's not making a very interesting gradient, is it? Whatever, it's fine. And then I'll just put this heart right on top of it. Or I won't. Oh, right, because we're doing the... No, I want you to go in here. Hello. And then you come down in... Oh, you're not going to let me do the thing because you're... Whatever. Okay, so I'll have to figure out how to like actually make that work, but this is fine. And let's use the actual colors. So we'll switch this to be this headline color. And then we'll switch this one to be this color. And finally, this one will be whatever color I made the buttons. How about that? That feels like it's on our brand, right? Okay, good enough. So then we've got our 3 features, and we can feel pretty happy about those. So we'll call these features. Stick them up here. And then the last thing we need to update is this newsletter. So for that piece, we're going to go with the newsletter is going to be, go with bold. I'm going to go with this -2 again. We'll shrink it up just a little bit. How big were these? 50? 60 seems fine. Yeah, we'll go with that. Thanks, Jack. I appreciate that. And thanks, VDog. Yeah, that site is going to take me forever, but I am going to get it done. Maybe my 2024 site will be done before 2025. Who's to say? All right. Then what I need is I need this color here. I'm going to make this the SF Pro Text. Regular. And let's see. Is that centered? Do I want that to be centered? I don't think I care enough to fix it. So I'm going to then, let's see. I could turn this into a component and share it around, but I'm not gonna. Instead, I'm just gonna copy paste things because I want to get this done. Let's get this button in here. Okay, so there's our button. That's the footer. So then our text pieces here, these are going to be the SF Pro text. We will make them bold, but I am still going to use that text color. Okay. And then the inputs themselves are going to have, I got to update that, this color. And you also are going to have that color. All right. Maybe these have like 3 pixels. Back down to 1, and then maybe we do a little gradient on these. So we'll start with this color, and we will end with this color. And that should be really subtle. It is. And then do I want to do something real wild, like an inset shadow? actually, we'll use this blue color. Right, and then, whoops, what was that? How do I get out of that? Go away. Something like that. Maybe the blur goes out a little bit more. And then we turn this way down. Maybe just like 25 all the way across. Okay. And then let's see if that actually makes any difference. So we can turn it off. It's subtle, right? But it's there. Can y'all even see that? Let me make this a little bit bigger. So this is off, on, right? I don't know. Maybe when we actually get into things, we won't deal with that, but I kind of like it. So I'm gonna roll with it. And then that then gives us our inputs. And I need to group all of these down below, like so. And then this whole thing becomes our newsletter. Okay. So, last piece. How far apart are these? This is 200. 200. That feels mostly okay. I think that'll be fine. And then down here, we want this footer. I don't know if the footer, does the footer really need to be a box? Let's see. Oh, the other thing I should do is, I don't know that I want the background to be plain white. I think I want this background to be this same color, which is almost white. Right? It's subtle. You can kind of see the difference here, but the intent, you know what? That's too much. Let's take it just a touch higher. And I'm going to do that in HSL because that's the only way I know how. Right? So that seems okay. And now it's like really subtle, but like, you see how this is just kind of like flat and then this feels like it has a little bit of life in it? It's just that like teeny tiny little bit of color that makes a big difference. So then let's just match all of these, make sure they're the brighter one. Same with you. And with you. Okay, so that's going to be our background color. And then I think this footer, I want to be, let's see, we'll kill the stroke altogether. And then I'm going to set this up to be this color maybe. How does that feel? It's pretty good, yeah? Well, I mean, if you're not nice to them, then it's kind of like plants, right? Like they did a study where actually it's not a study, it was Mythbusters. They did an episode of Mythbusters where they had two greenhouses, and in one of them they like yelled at their plants and played death metal, and in the other one they were like really nice to their plants and played classical music, and the difference in the growth was like staggering. And I think it's the same with a website. If you're nice to your design, it'll be nice to you. Retro brutalism. I mean, we're going pretty simple here, I think. And then let's see. Let's go. What's going to go in the footer? Like, do we even what even needs to be in the footer? Let's maybe think about that. So what I need. Whoa. Where am I? You come down here, and you're going to live in this footer. Okay. And I have lost you. Where did you go? Okay. So it's going to be smaller. And it's going to say something like part of Astro Party. And then what happens from there? We want something like that. Okay, that'll be okay. And then I think what we do from there is we create kind of like a muted color. And you got to be careful with these because we need to make sure that they are that they have enough contrast. So what I tend to do with these is like I'll come in here and I'll grab my background color. Whoops. Something like that. All right. And then I'll go and get my foreground color. And this is good enough for AA, but not good enough for AAA. How far do we have to go for AA? Not too much further. So why don't we just grab that and go? Right. And so now it's still kind of muted, but it'll pass. It passes the accessibility standards. Okay. So then I think what we want is we just want to bring this up until that feels about right. And then, oh, I broke that at some point. What happened here? That's probably fine. Yeah? You're good? You okay? I think that's a design. That is good enough that I am happy with it. So let's actually start building this thing. So the way we've got this broken up is we've got each of our components here, right? We've got the big groups. What are you? Oh, that's the heart that I can't fit into my features because of the way that I did this. I guess I can just don't tell any designers I did this. It's fine. It's all fine. Okay. So let's rock. Let's make this happen. So each of these is going to be a section that we've got to code up, and we can just start breaking these into the pieces that we want. So I'm going to head over into here, and the way that I will probably do this is we're going to start with our layouts, and we'll have a default layout. And that's going to hold all of this, actually. And then we got to decide what else goes in here. So I'll make this into a slot. And then out here, all we need is something like this. So we'll import layout from default. Take this, drag it around here. Okay. So that'll give us like our basic bits. And so then we should probably set up the support for a title. So I want to have a title up here, and const title is going to be coming out of astro.prop. So we're going to pass in the title as a prop, but then we need to define that. So we'll say props, and that's going to be title will be a string. And then what we should see when we come back out here. Oh, did I get this wrong? Isn't it props? Well, let's verify that. Right, you got to export it. That was the piece I was missing. Okay, so now that that's exported, this should start complaining. Props record string any, that is not. Do you know that you're a string? Reload. Wondering if it got caught. There it is. Okay, so now it says title is declared here. So we need to put in a title, and it knows that it needs to be a string, and so we'll call this one welcome to the party. Never ghosted. And do something like that, and then out here I can npm run dev, and this is open at 4321. So I'm just going to close that, head back out here, say localhost 4321. Okay, so here's our never ghosted, and we can see that our title is coming through, and that's doing what we want. And then, let's see. Oh, is the interface and type definition from Astro itself or TypeScript? So this is how Astro checks to see if types are defined for its props. So if you export an interface with the name of props, so this part is TypeScript, but by exporting it, we're telling the Astro component that this is how you type these pieces, if that makes sense. And then you can also do stuff like the title shown in the site meta. And then we also get notes. JS doc rules. Okay. And the other cool thing too then is if I come and look at this, it shows me down here as well. So you can add little notes for yourself and for people who are using your components. Little bonus tip. And that's not an Astro thing. That's like just in TypeScript you can do that. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to, let's start by getting our header and footer in place. I feel like that's probably the right place to go. So we're going to need a header and a footer. And let's decide if we want to break these into, I don't think these are complex enough to break them up. So I think instead we will just put them right in line. So I'm going to go with the header, go with the footer, and then we'll wrap the slot in a main. And so the main piece here is we're going to call this is our home link. And it's going to head to the home page. We'll say never ghosted. How do I want to do that? I want to have I want to just make the whole thing linked. So if we look at this setup here, I want all of this to be linked. So I could do it as like an SVG or something. What I think I'll do instead is actually do like a span, because it's not semantically important, but I can style on it. And we'll call this name. And then I'll do another one that's going to be the tagline. And we'll just copy paste that out. Or we won't. Okay, so that'll put it on the page here, but it doesn't look very good yet. So let's actually style it up. The nice thing about Astro is that we get scoped styles right out of the gate. So I can do something like this and not worry that I'm polluting the global headspace. So why don't I do something like, actually, let's set up our color palette before I do this. So I need, what are the actual colors I need? Like this is my brand color. And then we're going to need our like color background, color foreground, color heading, color text muted. I think those are the ones we actually ended up using. So then if we head over here and we've got our color heading, we've got our, wait, that's not right. This is our color background. And we don't really need a color foreground, do we? Because we're using like heading and text in all those places. I could probably do this a lot of different ways. Again, I'm not designing, this is not a design system. This is me solving my own problem. And most likely this would evolve quite a bit over time as I learn more about how I was using each of the pieces. But to get us out of the gate, I'm pretty happy with this. So that'll get us rolling. And then I can say background is going to be color brand. And the color is going to be color BG. And then we need, we'll just use a little CSS nesting here. We'll say that the color is inherit. Okay, the other thing I want to do is I want to set up our global. So I'm going to set everything to be box sizing border box, which just means that the padding gets factored in as the height and width. Otherwise, you got to do math. I don't like doing math. Then for the HTML, I'm going to set the font size, probably like 18 is a good, nice, like big, legible. The color, color is going to be color text. And what else do we need? We want line height. It's going to be by default 1.45. That's a nice legible line height. What else do we need? We want to set the body to have a background of color background. What else do we need? Font family. So our font family, actually I have this as a, that's a little shortcut I have. So that'll give us system fonts. It should fall back to whatever the system fonts are. And if we go out and look at what we've done, okay, we're getting, like, we got the colors in. This is using the right fonts and stuff. So I'll just use my browser to style this up because that makes me happier. You know what I forgot to do was set the margin to 0 on the body. So we need to do that. And then for this header, I want this header to have, let's go with like a padding of 1 rem and min of 2 rem or 5% of the width. And that didn't work at all, which means I did something wrong, or let's see. All right, so that looks okay. So then let's get Google Fonts. I need to go get Nunito. And this is, was this variable? It is variable. Okay. So then that means get font, get embed code. I don't need Urbanist. I just want this one. And we're going to, what's happening here? There's all my font sizes, display swap. Okay. So copying that, let's head back to our layout here, and up at the top in my head, I have these. And since we're doing a pre-connect, I'm just going to drop it right up at the top. And then, I could decide how I want to do this differently. I'm not going to worry about it because it's got the font display swap in there. And then now that we've got that, I can font optical sizing auto. Oh, I see what they're doing. Okay. So I can grab this and we'll go over to our header and let's just style the, did I call it name? Name and tagline. So that's going to be font family Nunito. The font weight that I was using was which one? I got it locked. Extra bold, so that's going to be here. And extra bold is 800. Okay. How did that work? Didn't do a dang thing. Oh, right, because it's contained. Okay, so there we go. That's better. And then I need to make this bigger. So let's go with a font size. Oops. What are you doing? Stop it. There we go. Font size of 2 rem. See how that feels? Is that too big? That could be all right. Try that. And then we'll go with text decoration, none. And then we'll take the tagline and we'll say display block. That should break it to the next line. It does. For this one, we're going to go with a line height probably of 1. Good. This one also probably needs a line height of 1. Yes. Then we need a font size of probably like 0.75 rem. We'll do letter spacing, probably like 0.2 M. I'm using M instead of rems. I'm trying not to get too in the weeds on CSS. If people have questions about this, please let me know. Oh, you can use font source to self-host Nunito. That's cool. Yeah, I might look into that. I feel like that almost comes down to like a perf optimization, because the thing that'll be nice about this is once we get this all plugged in, this site is going to be just silly fast. So we'll be able to do all of that. Oh, it looks like there were came back around to scope styles. And I mean, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the the scope styles. I do like this, the idea of like naming a color and then you go in and like alias the color to something else. I do that. I'm probably not going to do it here just because we're not theming or anything. And I don't know, every abstraction always feels a little, it's like one more thing you got to learn. Could do an SVG. I feel like the thing about SVGs is that they work really well until you need to do, like, they work really well when they're in the lane that they're designed to be in, and then you find yourself where they're not. But at the same time, I guess I could say the same thing where I'm doing this in CSS, and as soon as anything changes, we're gonna have to like manually tweak all these sizes again. So maybe I'm just doing things. All right. So let's see. Let's keep rolling as fast as we can here. How are we doing on time? We're at about the halfway point for this session, which we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how far we get here. So let's manually tweak this. This I want to be. Let's go a little bit smaller. Even we'll go with like a 6. Well, actually, maybe that's the right call. Then we'll go the text transform, uppercase. I think I might even want this to be a little bit bigger. Yes. And then maybe I need the name to be larger. Yeah, I think that's the call. So then we take this and we can make this just a teeny weeny little bit bigger. Not even that big. Okay. Then I'm going to center. No, not like that. I'm not. Like that. That seems better. Although I would like. Do I need this to be text line right? I don't know that I love that, but it's doing what I want, so we're not gonna overthink it. I might even take this down just a tiny bit more and ship it. It's good enough. We're gonna take these pieces. Whoops. Okay, then we're gonna go take this piece here. We had the line height and the font size is 2.5. And then the big thing was everything we did in the tagline. So the tagline is here. We can just drop all this back in here. Okay. We're happy? We're happy. All right, that's a header. So now we can actually navigate to home using that header, and we're going to call that good. So let's get the footer in here. The footer is going to be as straightforward as I can make it. It's just going to be one paragraph. And we're going to put links in it. Let's get you out of here. You out of here. Okay. Astro party. And for the source code, this is going to be what? GitHub learn with Jason. Welcome to the party. That's what I called it. Okay. So that will be our footer. We just need to style that up. And the way we're going to style that up is we've got this, oh, we didn't do this color. Drop that in there. Okay. So then we can go into our footer and we'll say background is going to be color muted. And then the color itself is going to be color text muted. That should already get us a decent chunk of the way there. Oh, we need to have our links inherit that. We'll go with none, but then because of this one, I do want, if it's hovered or focused, we'll do the text decoration underline. Right, so that when you hover, you see the right things. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we'll set up a font size of 0.875, make it a little smaller. Then we're going to text align center. We'll also do padding of like 1 rem. And then we'll do the same thing over here, a min of 2 rem or 5%. Feel good? Feels good. I think I'm okay with that. Yeah. All right. So then the other piece that we'll do is I want if you think you're overthinking, you can't be too kind. Listen. Parallax animation. You know, we could do some parallax animation. Let's save that kind of stuff for the end, and we'll see if we have time to do some fun. So the next thing I want to do then is let's just, for the sake of making these easier to style, we're going to set up each of these as its own component. Right, so what we can do then inside of this component is we've got our hero, and so our hero is going to have a couple pieces. It's going to be the section itself, and then it's going to have, I'm going to create a container for this text so that I can position it more easily and kind of keep it all as a group, and then we'll do everything else. So let's set up our section, and we're going to call this hero. And inside of it, we're going to have the text. So we're going to have a div that'll be like content. And then I also want to have my image. And that image is going to have a source of... I need to open this. Can I just... copy the image address, and then what we're going to do is we're going to resize this to be the size we need. So I could do a lot of things here. I'm going to, let's see, should we get into the Astro image stuff already? Probably, right? Probably, yeah, because we want to have good performance on these images. So let's get remote images, and remote images will be processed from an authorized image source. Fine. And so we can grab this bit here, come back out to our source here, drop it in, and then what I'm going to set this up to do is let's open image in new tab. Okay, and so I'm going to have to do images.unsplash.com as the authorized thingy. Okay, then we're going to head back over into images, and we're going to look at how this works. So we're going to grab the image. And how does that work with... Remote images use the full image URL, and then I set my width and height. Okay. Okay. We can do this. So let's get back into our hero. And we'll instead use the image here. And I guess what I can do is bring that in. And then you want an alt. And this is a group of friends at an outdoor dinner table. What are you mad about? Source string is not... class source. Width and height is why it's yelling at me. And what are the width and height that I have it at now? Let's find out. 1440 by 7, call it 750. Okay, so that'll be our image, and then we'll have to do stuff to it, but this will work. And then for our content, we've got an H1. We're going to have a paragraph down here, and then we're going to have another paragraph that has a link in it. And that link is going to be, you know what? Why doesn't that link just jump straight down the page to the newsletter? And that one said what? It was learn more. I think I used the right arrow. Oh, right. We actually have to use it. So in here, we're going to get the hero by importing our hero. Now, there we go. This is all we got. And look at our image coming in. And we've got, it's like lazy loaded. Cool. Oh, they resized it for us. You see that? That's cool because we told it what size we needed, and it gave us exactly that size. Although it does look like it squished it instead of cropping it, which is okay. That is okay. We can fix that. And the way we'll fix that is we're going to say auto format fit crop. Okay, actually, maybe I don't know why it's squished. This is squished, right? Yes, it is squished. And you should be, like, it should be cropped. Because if I set it to crop like this, and then I go 1440 and height of 750, that crop oh wait, I didn't actually set the... Yeah, that's what should be happening. So what is it doing? It is... let's inspect. And what's the... images on splash.com. Fit crop. Oh, and then is it like doing its own double resize on top of it? How do I make it? Maybe there's a setting for cropping. I guess I can just auto size it here, and we'll just, it's fine. We know what we're after, so I'm just going to do that. And then I'll dig into that later, and we'll cover what happened as part of the course. Okay, so there's our hero, and we've got our hero. I feel like what I probably want. Yeah, I think you're right that Astro is not using the Unsplash URL. It's putting the Unsplash URL into the Astro image service and then adding extra stuff on top of it. So I just want it to unsquish. Let's see. So now let's get this all styled up. So I need to get the text that we wrote. Head back here. Get this text. Okay. And then that'll be our basic styles. So we can come down to here, and we're going to do some more scoped styles. And here's the thing that I love about all this is, like, I have names like content, and it's fine. I honestly don't even need that. I can just call it div. Look at me go, a rebel. So in here, and I'm not going to do that because I like for my classes to say something. Because otherwise, you know, like this doesn't really help, but this is at least somewhat indicative of what's going on. So I want my section to have, let's make it position relative. I want it to be aspect ratio. Let's go, is it 16 divided by 9 or is it 9 divided by 16? Great question. Let's find out. And then we'll do an overflow hidden. And that, okay, so there's our image getting cropped, right? So then inside of this, I'm just going to set a class of image so that I can easily target it. And we're going to say image, we'll make this one position absolute. And we'll also give it inset of 0, which should stick it to the sides. There it is. So now it's stuck to the sides. We need to then give this a z-index of, we'll give this one a z-index of 1. And we'll give content a position relative and a z-index of 10. So basically what we're doing is just putting it higher in the stack so that that text is visible. There it is. Okay, so then I can close this down and we'll do something to the effect of, let's see, I want the after. Got to give it content or it won't do anything. And then we're going to set the position to absolute again. We'll set the inset to 0. And then we're going to set the background image to a linear gradient. And that linear gradient is going to go to right in OKLCH so that the gradient has this, it looks smooth. Although I don't know that that's going to matter because it's like the same color, just opacity changing. And we're going to start at color heading. And then we want to get to color mix of their color heading. And transparent 100%. And that's going to be at probably like a third of the way across, I think it was. Okay, did that not work or did I typo something? Oh, right, you can't set, can't do it on an image. We need to move this outside of the image. Images don't get pseudo elements. But then this needs to have a z index of 2. Where are you? Did I get my colors wrong? 2 right in OKLCH. Image. You. Okay, maybe that color is right. Did I get my color mix wrong? Oh, I have a trailing thingy. Oh, right, needs a z index. And now, still no? What did I just miss? You, here, there, doing the thing. Color. What is that? Oh, no. Color mix? Oh, right. I forgot to tell it. Okay, but then it needs to go to left. All right, like that. That seems good. So we're going to start this out a little ways. So I say we start it at probably 30%, and then maybe it actually goes out to like 80. It's a little better. Let's start it at, say, 50. That seems about right. I just remembered that we wanted this to be like 80%, so we'll switch this. It'll be 20% transparent now. There it is. And then we want background blend. Does not work. Mix blend mode will be multiply. Hey, hey. Look at that go. Okay, so then we're happy there, and we need to get our content to be, let's go with display flex, and we're gonna go with justify, or wait, no, I think it's just place items. Place items, flex end. End? Okay, that's better. Then we want this to be a width of like, I think it was about 50%. Why aren't you, you're supposed to be over there. Okay, so that's where I wanted it to be. We're going to give this a margin of, I guess it's going to start with like the block and will be 3 rem, inline. We'll go with 3 rem. It seems okay. Let's set the color to be the background color. There we go. And then we also need our links to inherit that color. And this link in particular is going to be a font weight of, we'll call it 600. Nice little thick buddy. Okay. I'm going to go back to my layout and do a bit of global typography because I want H1, H2, H3. I probably won't go more than that. We'll give it a line height of 1.1. Give it a font family of Nunito or sans serif. There's our headlines. Okay. Yeah, aspect ratio on the image and then object fit, cover, contain, I think is also a good idea. Could use the get image function that Astro uses under the hood. We could, yeah. I mean, honestly, if I was going to do that, though, because I'm already on an image CDN with Unsplash, I could just toss it in. The nice thing about doing it like this is that if we did want to animate or, have any kind of interaction with it, then it's still there. And we get the alt text on the image, which is, I think, important because maybe there's a way to do alt text for a background image, but off the top of my head, I don't know what it is. So let's tweak some font sizes. Oops. How are we doing on time? Oh boy, we got an hour. We can do this. We can get this done in an hour. So let's go with a font size of 2.5 rem. That's too much. 2.25. I think 2.25 works. Let's roll with that. Okay, then we need to reset the margin on it. Actually, maybe I want to do that on the globals. I think that might be a better call. We'll go with a margin 0 and then I might actually start there. And then maybe on the paragraphs, we'll go with a margin 0. Yep. Okay. And then we'll do not first child. Margin block start. Whoops. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so now we've got like kind of a nice clean little baseline typography. That's true, Todd. I guess like for this, maybe this doesn't matter because it's just setting vibes, but I like the idea of, especially on something minimal like this, it feels good to have the this set up like as part of it, like establishing the vibe if somebody was trying to understand the landing page without visuals. I don't know. Maybe it's not that important. It feels like it's not hard enough to not do it, you know? So let's take this. I'm going to take this down even a little bit. That's too much. 7. That feels pretty good. Let's ship that. Could use a visually hidden component for Aria. I don't know. I feel like in a lot of cases, my feel on Aria is that if I'm reaching for Aria, I made it too complicated. Like, because I've almost always been able to find a way to just make the markup semantic. And so unless I'm doing a really complicated control or like reaching for announcements or something, I typically try to steer away from Aria, because that feels like, rather than letting the browsers interpret things the way they're designed to interpret things, I'm trying to like override browser behavior, which almost always create edge cases, and then I feel like I'm in dangerous waters. Am I eyeballing the font sizes? I am eyeballing the font sizes for what feels right. I don't think they are anywhere near, like, this is clearly very different from what I'm designing, but I'm just kind of like, now that it's in the browser, I'm sort of vibing. And getting a sense for what I like. And speaking of which, now that I'm looking at that, I actually want that to be a little bit less wide. Maybe we go with 40%, like that, and then let's pop it off the end by a little more. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you know what the other thing we can do is we can do a... How does this work? It's text wrap. No. What is it? Is it font wrap? Line wrap? No. I know you work. That's definitely not the thing. Text wrap balance. Let's do that one. See what just happened? Y'all, is that what just happened? So good. So good. Okay, so then we're going to do that. And then, I don't know, maybe we go just like a tiny, well, no, let's not get silly here. Maybe pretty doesn't work yet. I do kind of, maybe I do want balance for the whole thing. I don't think I would do that for like body text, but I kind of dig it here. Like this feels right. Because I don't want this one sentence to be out here and then this one to only be this. So anyways, yeah, like real good. Yeah, and this is like, that's the urge, right? But I don't think I think that actually would look worse than I wanted, because when you have like your features or your blog previews or whatever, the length of text is different, but the width is the same. So when you do the balance, it'll make like one blog post will have like this much width on the preview, and then the next one will have that much width. And so I think I like, as much as I would love to just like put it everywhere, I've noticed that when I've tried that, it makes me, yeah. For real, like this is the game changer. Like not having to manually account for like widows and orphans, which is the typographic term for like a single hanging word. It's just like I just given up on it, right? How is this looking on mobile and other screen sizes? Great question. Probably not great yet because we haven't really done anything with it, but let's see how we're doing out of the gate. So the aspect ratio needs to fix. So actually, you know what? That's a good point. We'll see. This might cost us the full finish, but let's go with mobile styles as we go, and that way we can see how that would work. So I've got my hero here. I've got my content class, and so this content class, I think what I'm gonna do for the content is let's add a media min width you see how cool this nesting stuff is? This isn't Astro specific. This is just how CSS works now. And I just ate a beard hair. Gross. I'll have to double check this on other browsers because I might need a polyfill to make the nesting work, but we'll see. Nesting in plain CSS is surprisingly well supported. Let's go over here. Can I use CSS nesting? It is fully supported in modern browsers. Sick. I actually didn't realize that. I thought we were still waiting on, I think it was Firefox was like just a little bit behind everybody else, but we're like game on. Okay. So yeah, this is working. Let's make this work. I'm going to head over here. Let's start with like a 750 and see how that feels. And what we can do is set that width 40% in here, turn it off here, and we'll move these down as well. And so what I'll say is margin inline is going to be auto, and max width will be 90%. Okay, that's getting us closer. Let's also, and then as we kind of make this bigger, that should pop out to the right size. It does, so I'll fix my fonts because they're a little too big. Oh, you know what this means? This means it's time to give him the clamps. I don't know if everybody else watched Futurama, but like whenever I see the CSS clamp thing in my head, I go, give him the clamps! Which I don't know what that impression was because that was incorrect. But in my head, it sounds like the clamps guy. Okay, so let's get into this here. So we'll do a clamp. And so you pick your minimum and your maximum. So our minimum is going to be, we'll go to 1.25. And our target, maybe try there and see what happens. Okay, you saw it got smaller. I need to move this aspect ratio. Let's take this down here. And we'll go with a full 16:9 until we hit. Is that better? That's getting a little bit better, and then it pops up to the thing. But we're going to need a container query. You know why? Because it's not the width of the window that is causing the content. It's the width of the content thing. So I have to remember how container queries work. Oh my goodness. So we say it's container, right? But we can name the container, I think. Container type, inline size. Okay. And then with this one, we want I actually think that might be all we need. Yeah, check that out. You see what just happened? Ta-da! Like it still needs a little work. Uh-oh. Well, that's not what was supposed to happen. Why didn't you... Min width. How would this work? So this needs to be on the parent. So I guess we do and content something like that. But then I need to move this way down. That's still not doing what I want. I need you live here, and then I'm checking on the min width of the hero. And that should cause the content thing to change aspect ratios, but only at 7. Yeah, see, so it's doing parts of it, but it's not getting the... All right, what's stuck? What's stuck? Max width is there. Why are you 0 width? Well, that's not the problem. So CQW should work the same as anything else, but let's double check if that's the problem. Can't just turn that off. Apparently can't just turn that off, so let's yeah, that's not the problem. So the challenge I see here is let's maybe just force it to 90%. Oh, maybe that was the issue, is it needed like an actual width set. Right? So it's kind of now it's kind of doing its thing. That's a little better. We never lose our content. Then the other thing we're going to need to do is turn that gradient. So the gradient here is gonna, after to top. Oh wait, this one needs to be to left and this one needs to be to top. Bam. Probably need to move this up a little bit. So we'll go like 90 and 60. All right, a little better, a little better. And then I want, maybe I can just set all of these to have like a padding 2 rem. Because then I wouldn't need to set the width at all, I don't think. Because now it just hits the padding. So that feels right. And then here, we would take that part out, which keeps it, it's always stuck at the same point on the bottom. And we're just kind of controlling the left and right there. Okay, so we need, maybe we just turn off the aspect ratio when it's smaller. It'll just kind of expand as needed. I think that's, yeah, I don't love that, but it's fine. And then let's make this image okay, so now we've got 100%, and then let's object fit it. There we go. All right, now we're in business. So maybe we want at the top here, padding block start. We'll give it like a solid 5 rem just to really pop it off the top. Maybe even a little bit more. Maybe we use the device height, right? Because then if I set this to be like an iPhone or whatever, that feels good. How does that feel on like an iPad? I think this is all right. You know, I don't know. What do you think? What's missing? Anything? Should I make these a little bit, I feel like maybe this should be a bit more pronounced in the smaller sizes. So maybe we go with 1.5. And then you, maybe. Yeah, let's try that. Let's good. Oh, we lose it for a second there, so need to go with something a little. Is it maybe you? What's going on? Why isn't that? It's just not respecting my sizes? Fine. I think I'm calling that good. I feel like that is good enough. I can read it at every size, and it feels right. Yeah. So I think the container element is really the magic here, because by putting this content container on, then the font is relative to its container size versus relative to the window size, which is good. Make this more buttony. All right. So maybe I might just cheat it with is that? I don't know. I don't know if I want to put like a full-blown button up here. Maybe I do. Maybe I should just get over it. Sure. Let's make it a button. So what we'll do is we will make a button class, and we're going to make that global because we're going to end up using that all over the place. So let's go look at what our button looks like. It is the Nunito black, so that'll be font weight 900. It's got a 3 pixel radius. It's using our brand color and our heading as the stroke. And hold on, somebody's pounding on my door. Give me 2 minutes. I got it. Somebody else got it, never mind. Let's see. So buttons. Time to run amok. Okay. So get out here. This is going to be background. Color background. Color is color. Or wait, no. That's wrong. This is going to be the color background. This is going to be color brand. I love that you get a preview of that so I can catch that early. Font family is going to be Nunito. And the... What's happening? Font weight 900. Text transform is going to be uppercase. And then I need to actually apply that to something, so we'll apply that to our button here. Okay, getting closer. Let's make that display inline block. We'll set up padding. Will be probably like 0.5 and 1. And then we also need that border radius, which I think would be about there. Okay, that's looking closer. My font weight doesn't seem heavy enough. Whatever, it's fine. We'll do text decoration. All right, we need to set our line height to 1. Not quite, 1.1. It's a little closer, good. Let's up this just a little bit. And maybe what we actually want is a font size of 1. Okay, and then we needed that border. 1 pixel solid color heading. Okay, so that kind of pulls it off the background just a little bit. And then we have, it's real buttony. Let's give it a hover state. And we'll go with background, the color mix. We'll say NOKLCH. And we're going to set the var color brand. And we'll use the background and we'll just give it like a little 10% bump. Transition, 2 seconds, background, linear. So what we should see then, I got it wrong. color mix in OKLCH. Brand 2 there. I think I just had an extra around boy. Look at that, y'all. Buttons. Buttons. And then the other thing that I could do, I guess, is I could do something like this, and we'll say transform scale, and we'll do like a 1.1. And I guess if we were going to do that, we would set a transform origin of center. Boom. That's too much. What am I doing? Don't be ridiculous. But we could do something, you know, like just take it up like 2%. Right? Now, it's very clear. That's freaking clickable. Okay. So, Look at us go. We did it. That's a hero section. Calling it. We're done. So we can close out this hero. And now we've got our button like pre-styled and everything. We can close out this layout. So if we go back to our setup here, then the next thing we can do is let's set up a, we had features, and we have newsletter, and that was it. So in here, we're going to have a section that we'll call newsletter. Oh, wait, this is features. Right, and then in here, same thing. And if we come back out to our page, get our features, newsletter. And just copy. Whoa. Okay, so we're moving, and now we need that reusable feature component. So I'm going to create another one called feature.astro. And in this one, we're going to need some props. So we'll export that interface of props, and we're going to need, we had already figured this out. We need our image, heading, text, and link. Image, heading, text, and link. So the image will be a string, the heading will be a string. It's all going to be strings all the way down, and we'll go with URL. Okay, and then we'll just pull those out. So image, heading, text, and URL. And I'm actually going to change this to be a source and an alt, because we're going to need that. Okay, so then what we're going to have is a make the feature a card. I mean, it is kind of a card. That's what we're doing more or less. And so we'll just call this div class feature, and it's going to have the, I think we'll link the image and the button. Seems reasonable, yeah? So we'll go with ahref URL, and that will be then our image. And so I guess we will get that Astro image again. And this time we'll go with the image.source. Do the alt, and for the width and the height, we need their square. So we have them at 350. Let's try that and see how it feels. Okay, Then we have our heading, which is going to be probably an H3. That'll be here. We have our text, which will be our text. And then we have our href, which will go to the URL, and it'll be a class of button, which we've already defined, and that gets one of these. Okay, so theoretically speaking, that should get us pretty close. So if I come in here and I define my features, right? So I'll have my image, alt, and then I'll have my heading, have my text, and I'll have my URL. And we should be able to create 3 of those, right? Then we need to import that feature. And for each of these, we're going to say features.map. We're going to return a feature. And can I just spread the... This will be neat if this works. I've never tried this before. So let's get our individual components here. So we've got this one. We're going to open that in a new tab. And I'm just going to make these square on my own because I'm faster. So we'll go with 350 and 350. Oh, can I make this? What's the... And crop entropy? Close enough. We're going to roll with that. Let's see, a calendar page on a white background. Our heading then. All of these are going to be the same, so I probably could have just put this in before. And then for the URL, I think what I'm going to do to start is we'll do something like this, and then maybe eventually we'll dig deeper into these. So we can do the same thing with this one. Let's get to this image here, open in a new tab, and then for this one, I think I can just copy paste this bit, and that should give me, oh, come on. Maybe you'll just be okay if I don't force the crop. If anybody's wondering what I'm doing right now, I'm messing with ImageX settings. Oh, I know there's a way to fix this, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. So here we are. Let's just get... There's a way to do an offset. Background. Okay. And then I have my heading. And our URL is going to be capture memories. Okay. Finally, we need to get this last one, which I can just export, I guess, and then we'll use here's my rectangle. Let's turn off the stroke on the rectangle. Copy this. we go out to 350, I believe. 350? 350. Then I take these and I center them up. More or less. It's good enough for me. And so we're going to rename this to feature heart. We'll export it as a JPEG because we don't need transparency. I'm going to open up squoosh.app. I probably don't need to do this because Astro is going to do this for me, but I have habits. And then download that nice little 4 kilobyte buddy. Head back in here. And what does Astro say about the images? Source versus public. We recommend that local images are kept in source when possible so that Astro can transform, optimize, and bundle them. Cool. So with that being said, we're going to... Oh, whoops. You get out of here. Create a folder called images. And then we're going to drag... Not you. We're going to drag this little buddy into here. Now I've got my feature heart. So on this one, I'm going to say... Oh, wait, do I have to like... Images and Astro file, so I just need to import the image. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll just import heart from images heart. I think it's just like lowercase is fine. And so then this one, I'm going to call heart. And we'll say a heart on a white background. The heading then is over here somewhere. Okay, let's see how I did. Like, that's pretty dope that that worked that quickly. All right, we're coming into the home stretch here, so let's get this styled up as fast as we can. And I don't think I'm going to get through the newsletter because I've got like 20 minutes, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to do my best. So here's feature. We're going to say that feature itself is going to, let's see, we're going to make... So image link is going to have a, that's going to be display block. Honestly, I don't need to wrap the feature part. It doesn't, you don't need to use nesting, right? Like we get all of this. But then this part I do want to do nesting on. So we'll say width 100%. That's not quite right, but we'll work on that. So on our features, I want we'll make this display flex, and we'll make it justify content space between. We'll maybe give it a gap of like 1 rem, and let's see what that does to start. Okay, that gets us pretty close. We're getting there. So then what I want is I want for my image to have an aspect ratio of 1, and I want the height then to be auto. So that gives us square images. I'm happy with that. And then what I want is for my features to have probably just a margin of like, we'll go with 3 rem, and then we'll do that same thing where I want it to either be 3 rem or 5% off the side. That feels good. I'm okay with that. Let's maybe switch that up just a tad and go 2 rem gap. Okay, that feels good. That's going to look weird in max width. Okay, and then on this case, it would be min of that or 90%. Right, I'm pretty happy with that. That looks good. The links are working, doing what I want. And if I make this smaller, I just need to get the wrap to work the way that I want it to when we're at tiny sizes. And I think the way that I'm going to do that is media min width, call it 800, I think. Flex direction column, and then here we'll do flex direction row. Right, so we end up, right, we're good there. Get out wider, I'm gonna have to fix that. So we'll set a max width on these, and then we end up here. How wide are these? Each of these is how wide? 226, okay. Actually then what we can do is we can make this maybe 600. And then the features themselves, I can set a max width of, we'll say 250. Okay, closer still, not quite there, but getting better. So that needs to be on the feature itself. Good. And then we need the features to, let's say, align items center. There we go. Pretty happy with that. And honestly, I think I can feel pretty good about that. Like, leave it alone. Have to decide, you know, would you... Wait a minute. Why are you getting... You're getting the font right, and you're not getting the font right. Color inherit, font family. Is that overriding? But it shouldn't override. It should work. So why wouldn't it? Where is this coming from? The hero. Ah. Ta-da. Okay, much better. So now our buttons are lined up. Happy about that. Yeah, we're building here. So with Astro's components, something that I think is really, really important to note with these is that, like, the baseline intent of Astro is to just let you use browser primitives. So these are nothing that I'm doing here is different from regular old HTML. And the reason, so like this is stuff that you would do outside of your component. Let's see, we're not going to get through the newsletter, so why don't I do a comparison of like what's going on in these. So let me open a split, let's see, split editor. So let me open a new thing here. Now, if I were to change this and I had a React component, for example, what I would end up doing with this is I would have, you know, export, I guess to do it exactly equivalent, it would be export default feature equals, and we would do something like this, and then we would return in here, and we would return this bit, right? And then it's already mad at me. Can I get you to... I feel like it's gonna fight me a little bit on this because I don't have React installed, but basically this would be the kind of React equivalent, except we would have to go through and do the React specific things like changing these to class names. And then if we wanted to do our styles would have to go somewhere else. Like we can't do inline styles, so we'd end up with a CSS module, or we start reaching for Tailwind, or we start reaching for you know, some CSS and JS solution. So this would have to go somewhere else. But then the other pieces that we would get here is like we would have our props. And so our props would more or less be exactly the same. It would be like image, heading, text, URL. And then for types, we could do them in line like this, or we could actually take this exactly and say that this is going to be our props, right? There, how about that? How about you leave me alone? So then up here, we would have any of our like extra stuff that we needed to do, which in this case, there's no extra logic, but like if we needed extra logic, like we wanted to check, you know, if image source is, I don't know, is empty or something, then you would do that here as well, right? So this exact same code would go right here. So the thing about like basically the way that Astro stuff works is what you want to show up on the screen is what you write here. You can include your styles, and these will be scoped. And what I mean by scoped is like, let's look at the source for this feature. So I've written div class feature, and I styled that feature directly. So let's get into the source code here a little bit, and let's find, here's my div class feature. Now look at these styles. You see how it added the data attribute, so data Astro, CID, and then it adds a hash. What that means is that I can write any styles I want and not worry about them clashing outside of the component, because Astro is adding this CID or component ID or whatever their shorthand is. So that makes this globally unique, even if I were to have a bunch of things called feature or wrapper or container or text or whatever it is that the common thing is that you're worried about. You can just kind of write it inside of the component and it's scoped to itself. You have escape hatches from that. We saw that in the default here, where I set this style sheet to be global. So these don't get scoped, and this is just applicable to everything, and I can override them later on. They can clash and conflict, but if you don't, you know, like for something global, like your typography, that's kind of what you want. You want to set defaults and then override them in components individually. So basically what an Astro component is letting us do is, you know, we're able to kind of take this React approach where there's stuff that happens out of the browser and it just sort of happens above the return. And then you return the stuff that has to go into the browser. Astro just says, we'll put anything that's above the, like that happens before the browser into these fenced blocks up here. anything that goes on the browser, write it just like you would regular code. And then your styles, you write right there as well. And by default, we'll do the safe thing and scope them so that you don't have collisions. When you need something to be global, mark it as global, and we'll make it global. So that's sort of the big difference, the big benefit. Do global styles always render before all component styles? That is a great question. Can you override with global? You can, or sorry, you're saying that you can. Yes, you can. So if I wanted to make this like all headers, I can also do something like this. And now every header on the site would be affected within this scoped thing. But usually I don't want to do that. I like this idea of kind of putting everything there. But let's actually try this. Let's build this site. And let's see what we've actually come up with so far. So npm run build. Actually, there's a script for this. Preview. Oh, it didn't. npm run build. It's not assignable to intrinsic attributes and props. I don't believe you. What did I do wrong? Image metadata. Oh, okay, so that's... So we're going to go into our feature. And we'll just pull in this type. And now it should work. How dare you? It's not assignable to intrinsic attributes. What don't you like? String or image metadata. And that's what I'm doing. String or image metadata. Thank you, Osama. I really appreciate that. Probably needs a width and height. I mean, I've got the width and height. That's hard-coded. So what are you mad about? Width and height. Is it because this has image metadata? It doesn't like that. So wait, what does that mean? Isn't this literally how it says to use it? Local bird image. Local bird image dot source. Oh, wait, no. Why? Oh, maybe it's because I'm doing the, okay. So I'm just gonna pass in, let's go into my features. Let's pass in just the source. And let's try this again. And I think that should fix it. How dare you? Oh, did I not save my feature? Now let's try again. 0 errors, then it's built. Okay, it's npm run preview. And now we're on what should be our like production site. Okay, so let's check this out because here's what's really cool about this. Let's go to slow 3G and let's disable the cache and let's disable JavaScript. And let's run our site. like slow 3G, no cache. I'm pulling in from like an image CDN here, so I'm hot linking images from Unsplash instead of doing my own optimized versions. This is pretty slick, right? Like this is pretty dang cool that this is doing what I want it to do. And the whole site, over slow 3G. Like I'm throttling this as hard as I can, and we are getting to, let's close this. We're getting to, let's see, 9 seconds on slow 3G, so under 10 seconds to get the whole page with a couple pretty big images here. And most importantly, JavaScript is disabled, so we're just not loading very much, like including the images, and I think the images make up most of this. Let's get just our images. So our images make up 113 of 157 kilobytes transferred. What makes up everything else? What else are we doing here? So let's get our sizes, and we'll go by biggest. So there's our image. Here's our fonts. Oh, so the fonts are big. We've got more images. The document itself is 2.7 kilobytes. More images, more fonts. So quite literally, if we went with just system font on this, the only thing that really adds any weight is images. Everything else is just this. So then let's turn on JavaScript again, and let's reload it. And again, like, did we even load any JavaScript? Let's find out. Request types, JavaScript, none JavaScript, right? So this again is why I'm so stoked about Astro, is that basically we were able to build all this stuff, and we did JavaScript-y things. Like we made components, we iterated over our components, we made the object so that we could make 3 of these from the single component. And the output, like my DX was great. I wrote a component, I wrote some JavaScript objects, I fed those into my components, I outputted some stuff. I did, manipulation of my URLs and things by using the Astro component. But what comes out to the browser, what comes out to the user is nothing, right? There's no JavaScript here. And unless I explicitly opt in, which we'll get to in this part here, which maybe I'll do that next Tuesday, or maybe you'll just have to see the course when it comes out. But that, like, the opting into the JavaScript is the only way that you add JavaScript to a page in Astro. So very, very cool stuff, very powerful stuff. And we were able to build quite a bit here. So let me actually commit these changes, and then we'll call this a day. So git add everything. We're going to GitHub repo create, and we're going to push the existing. Yes, we're going to just put that into learn with JSON, make it public. Yes, yes, yeah. All right. So then we're going to git commit and say work in progress landing page. Git push origin main. And now if you want to check this out, you can head out here. So that's the side, the site we built today, if you want to check it out, and I'll keep pushing as we go. But yeah, I mean, we didn't quite get as far as I wanted to. I wanted to get through the newsletter opt-in as well, but like we designed, so we wireframed, designed, and then laid out most of a site with responsive styles in place, and we almost got all the way through. Pretty cool. Very happy about how far we were able to get. Would have loved another 20 minutes to finish that newsletter, but I'm not sad about this. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out. This was great. So yeah, stay tuned. Also, if you enjoyed this, if it's useful to you, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're feeling generous, you can join the channel for about $4 a month, I think, and then you get members only videos, behind the scenes, extended cuts of 4 web devs, 1 app, all sorts of good stuff like that. You can also find me on all the social medias, and make sure that you set a calendar reminder for Thursday, because on Thursday we are going to have a dope show. Let me get this actually up here. We are going to get Jay Miller on, and we're going to talk about how to build APIs with Python. I don't know how to write Python. I've maybe written 3 lines of Python in my entire career. So this is going to be a wild episode where I have literally no idea what's going on. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Jay is very, very fun to talk to. We're going to learn a lot. With that, we'll see y'all next time.